Let's go now to our friend Bimnet Abibi from Galaxy Trading. As always, Bimnet, great to see you. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
I love having you on the show. And gosh, I just was saying, you look nice.
Yeah, where is your blazer, sir?
Dude, I left my blazer back at Fidelity. Okay,
all right. Yeah, make you look good. So
Well,
anyway.
we are on video, so I guess it does kind of matter to look good. But let's talk about the markets. I mean, I guess since we didn't have you on last week, actually, and I have to apologize to our viewers. I told our viewers that Bimnet was on vacation, but actually I was on vacation, and we weren't able to connect in order to do the weekly markets, so we just didn't have it at all in the episode.
I don't take markets never sleep, obviously. So
he was here in the waiting in the wings, but I was like in a line at Disney World, so I was unable to do it. So it's been therefore 2 weeks since we've last connected on markets, and a fair amount has happened. Obviously, Bitcoin rallied hard on the BlackRock, presumably on the BlackRock news, although the rally came about like 2 or 3 days after the BlackRock news, which is a little surprising to me. But when we're back up over 30K, it's deja vu all over again.
Sustaining above 30K.
Yeah, nicely right now.
So high level, I do think the BlackRock ETF application is a significant market catalyst, and that as people start to price in a greater probability of approval, Bitcoin's prices should definitely move higher. We've seen the impact of what a spot ETF can do, or rumors of a spot ETF, hence the 2021 rally, et cetera, and how much gold moved after GLD. There's tons of good arguments to be made as to why Bitcoin's got to appreciate a lot more if a ETF is going to get approved, or if that probability is inching higher. And I think it's on magnitude, it's an order of magnitude higher than most people are thinking about it right now, right? Like, you're talking about the world's largest asset managers coming into the space. There are more applications for Bitcoin ETF than I can count. And each one of these ETF providers is going to have an incentive to market this product, get more AUM into it. It's a higher fee product to begin with, and it's got a really great story at the moment. And fundamentally, all a good asset needs, or any asset needs, is liquidity and a good story, and that's what Bitcoin's got. The other thing to think about is just the importance of having an ETF from the liquidity standpoint, right? You launch an ETF, it's going to make Bitcoin a lot more liquid from a spot state trading standpoint, from a posting it as collateral standpoint, from a derivatives standpoint. And the more liquid something is, the more institutions can take a look at it, the larger positions that they can hold. And so it's one of those things that becomes self-fulfilling or self-reinforcing, where, as liquidity grows in the product, like, more and more folks can jump in it, and that'll help more and more folks jump in it, because as more people come in, there are more dip buyers, vol goes down, vol of the asset goes down, people can allocate more. And so, I really do think that this could be a foundational paradigm shift for Bitcoin if you do actually get the approval.
Right.
And what we're doing now as market participants is basically trying to figure out, what the distribution of Bitcoin is going to look like, or what it looks like given the information that we have at hand. And if you start placing higher probabilities of an ETF, your value for Bitcoin is going to start. Your expected value for Bitcoin right now is going to start climbing a lot.
It's interesting. Senior litigation analyst at Bloomberg, Elliot Stein, pegged the likelihood that the SEC would lose to Grayscale in their lawsuit over the GBTC conversion at 70%. So they're guessing 70% likely that Grayscale wins that case. Now, whether that results in you can win a court case without getting the outcome you want. You can nominally win, but the precedent doesn't actually But if it were to force the SEC to even just relook at approving a spot Bitcoin ETF, or even in the best case scenario, force them to start approving one, or force them to approve GBTC's conversion, that you could see then as the catalyst for a near-term approval of others like BlackRock's and Fidelity's and whomever's, right? So it does seem, and then you have to ask why now? I mean, why BlackRock now? They didn't file for one in 2021 when everyone else did, right? I mean, Fidelity and Invesco and State Street and everybody had filed. Actually, maybe not State Street, but Wisdom Tree and ARK and all those people had filed, right? There was 35 filings, but no BlackRock, right? And then now at seemingly height of peak regulatory FUD in some ways.
Well,
Fear.
it seems clearer than ever that Bitcoin is going to come out of this looking the strongest.
Yeah.
Right. Relative to the entirety of the crypto industry, it seems like Bitcoin is going to be unscathed. And if you're one of the world's largest asset managers or anyone that manages any real money, and it looks like there's a clear winner in crypto, and you've got clear regulatory framework around it, then it just opens you up for business. And what they see is a business opportunity, right? They clearly view it as an asset that's probably going to go up, that's going to have tremendous trading volume, lots of interest, and it's a product that's been around for over a decade now.
Right.
It ain't going away. And so if it ain't going away, you might as well make money off of it. And I think that's where a lot of these institutions stand at the moment.
So, and we saw a little bit of an alt rally follow on the back of the Bitcoin rally, but that looks to have stalled a bit. And ETH BTC is notably lower than, it's not like ridiculously low, but it's starting.
It's down about 10% on the month.
Yeah. So, what does the rest of crypto look like at the moment in your mind?
I mean, everything looks pretty awful versus Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Bitcoin is the ultimate asset in crypto right now. The only reason these alts pump, for the most part, are short covering rallies.
Yeah.
Nobody is fundamentally being like, I need to get long some of these protocols. I need to get long, optimism with an insane unlock schedule.
And new money, right?
Yeah. I need to get long, Polygon, Solana, these things that the SEC is clearly deeming,
is mad about, right?
Right? I need to get long another new L1 blockchain.
Catalyst is not there
we need
for
more
that.
block space. There is no story.
And you
really.
mentioned, too, there's some base effect here happening, too, right? If someone's down 98% on the year or on
and it moves up $1, it might be up 100%. And so people are like, oh my God, look at these alt moves. No, step back. If Solana goes from, $15 to $16, yeah, it's a reasonable percent gain, but remember, we came from 200, bro.
Yeah. So what else are you looking at then in macro and in markets right now? What's the data been looking? Anything interesting that stands out to you?
There's so much, to be honest. My favorite thing right now that I've been looking at and keeping track of is China and dollar CNH. The thing is just gapping. Their currency is depreciating like crazy. Their economy is in shambles. They've got a looming youth unemployment crisis.
Really?
And they're cutting interest rates and engaging in easy monetary policy, while the rest of the developed world is doing the complete opposite. And so that's been an interesting dynamic. Wow. And then this morning you had a panel, I forgot who organized it, but you had the G4 central bank heads all on TV today in Portugal.
Wow.
It was Governor Bailey, Ueda from Japan,
Christine
Lagarde, and Jerome, our main
very
guy.
own Jay Powell.
And it was so interesting because I watched this thing last year.
Grateful Dead Jay Powell.
Grateful Dead. I watched this thing last year, and it was so funny because Bailey was hawkish, Powell was very hawkish, and Lagarde was just so dovish. and now it's those three people are all super hawkish, and they're like, inflation's still an issue. We have to keep going. And then you've got the Japanese guy still stuck at negative interest rates and having yield curve control with 4% inflation.
What does he say?
Being like, we still think that, inflation is lower, and they're concerned about the risk. We're going to wait to see how it develops in 2024.
Outlier.
We don't know.
Total outlier.
I mean, it was just so traumatic. But literally, I kept thinking about it. I'm like, that's the reason I'm long Bitcoin, because you've got a reckless BOJ with a money printer that they try to solve everything with. And even when they're hit with an issue that every other academic across the world says that you're supposed to tackle, right? What did the ECB do? The crazy dovish ECB, BO, all of the EM, right? All of these crazy academics, right, were like, what is the appropriate policy response to high inflation? And they were like, raise interest rates. And these guys are still stuck at negative rates.
Yeah.
Makes absolutely no sense. And then the other thing is I've seen these central bankers before, and it's their true colors they're addicted to the money printer. It's every single, I keep thinking about it. It's they were talking about, our policies coordinated? Yeah, they're coordinated. These guys all talk, etc. But fundamentally, what holds all of these things together, right? It's the U.S. dollar, and what holds the dollar together is the fucking money printer. Mm-hmm. We are going to backstop everything if treasuries go crazy, we're going to buy a crazy amount of them. Oh, if dollars funding goes crazy, here's a swap line to every single bank. Oh, if you can't fund your munis, here's a lending facility. If your bank is going, if there's a bank run, yeah, we got, this facility where you can borrow at par. You can take a bond at 20 cents and borrow $100 versus that. Like, it is absurd. The entirety of money is backed by the full faith and confidence in the U.S. to print money and people to accept it because the U.S. has got,
We've got a good
ships
printer.
and nukes and shit like that.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I love it.
Going
This
on
is
a
great.
tangent.
Bimnet Abibi from Galaxy Trading, as always, my friend. Thank you so much.